Welcome to this ZENworks video demonstration for mitigating software vulnerabilities. In this video, we will demonstrate how to configure patch management after completing a system update from a ZENworks 2020 Update 2 or earlier version to a 2020 Update 3 or later version, and after migrating patch management to the newer system. This demonstration starts from the Mitigating Vulnerabilities Getting Started page in ZENworks Control Center. From the Getting Started page, we can see in the first section that this section is labeled Enable Patch Management. This is a change from ZENworks 2020 Update 2 and earlier versions, and most of the configuration options in this section are different. We can also see that the status icons for patch services, patch server, and patch policies are red. The configuration options are designed to work from left to right. You'll notice that the link for Start Patch Services is enabled. Other links will become active as we progress through the configuration. We'll go ahead and click Start Patch Services. Before actually starting the patch service, we are prompted to verify that all of our primary servers are at Update 3 or later. The patch service, which must run on all primary servers, is installed as part of Update 3. We only have one primary server for this demonstration, and it is on Update 3, so we are ready to start. Once the status changes to completed, the Select Patch Server link is enabled. From here, we'll select the primary server that we'll use as the patch server. The patch server requires external access during the daily maintenance processing to validate the patch subscription license. If it needs to use a proxy for external access, it uses the proxy that is configured on the System Updates Settings page. The selected server also functions as our first on-demand content master, or OCM by default. An OCM is a primary server that has external access so that it can retrieve patches from the source repositories. One OCM is required at minimum for the new patch system. Additional OCMs can be added later in the server hierarchy section of the main configuration page. We are not using a proxy in this configuration for our OCM, but if any of the primary servers configured as OCMs use a proxy for external access, we would need to configure those. Information for how to configure an OCM proxy is provided in the Patch Management online reference. We'll leave the default schedule for patch management daily maintenance tasks in place and apply the changes. As we're brought back to the Getting Started page, we can see that we now have another configuration link enabled. Verify policies and re-enable. This is only applicable to patch management migration after a system update. This link is not applicable or visible if patch management has never been activated, whether from an existing ZENworks zone or a new installation. There are a few things to note before we proceed. To start with, we can see that the CVE subscription has a green status. This is also because we've migrated patch management after a system update, which isn't a part of the demonstration. The CVE subscription was already running before migration. Secondly, since this is a migrated patch management system and not a new activation, and since during the migration we chose the default option to retain patch policies and configuration settings, we need to allow sufficient time for the daily scanning of devices to take place, according to the vulnerability detection schedule. The first time this happens is after the new patch agent is deployed on each managed device from a new DAU bundle. We need to wait for the scans because the new patch management system downloads patches from a different repository than pre-migration or ZENworks 2020 Update 2 and earlier versions, and some of the vendor and patch names may have a different naming convention, which can in turn make some of the existing policy rules obsolete. If needed, you can speed up this process by running scans manually on devices using quick tasks after the new DAU is downloaded on zone devices. After the scans have run, we need to verify that all our patch policy rules are still working, or in other words, that the vendor and patch names still match with patches. Without a scan by the new patch agent, there would be no data to compare with in the patch policy rules. We've given time for our scans to complete, so we can demonstrate the verification process. From the Getting Started page for mitigating vulnerabilities, we'll start by clicking Verify Policies and Re-enable, which takes us to the Patch Policies page. From here, we'll click the link for our patch policy and select the Rules tab. From this page, we can see that the 3 vendor configured rules have Does Not Exist appended in parentheses. As previously mentioned, this is because the naming convention is different for these vendors in the post-migration patch repository. To fix these rules, we simply change the updated name for each vendor. We've now verified this patch policy. So after we rebuild and publish the policy, we'll return to the Patch Policies page. We only have one policy for this demonstration, but if there were additional policies, we'd need to check the rules for each policy. We'll now select the policy we were employing before the migration and choose Enable from the Action menu. Once executed, we can see that the Enable status has changed from No to Yes. This will activate patch automation using the new on-demand patch system on any devices that we have the policy deployed to in the management zone. This completes the configuration of patch management. While the essential configuration process is done for this migrated patch system, we need to mention that migration also affects default patch dashlets and default CVE dashlets if you have a CVE subscription. In both cases, data will not show in those dashlets until sufficient scans have run to generate the data. In like manner, the changes in a migrated patch system may require some changes for or complete replacement of some carryover custom patch and custom CVE dashlets on any of the pages where they reside. This completes the demonstration for configuring patch management after a system update and migration to the newer patch system. For information on the steps that you need to take to further configure patch management, track patch vulnerabilities, and mitigate those vulnerabilities, see the other Security Getting Started videos on the Mitigating Vulnerabilities page. For more information about using ZENworks security products, see the ZENworks documentation page. Thanks for watching.